Look, folks, let me be blunt and upfront. This episode is going to trigger people. The subject matter is going to make folks angry, mad, upset, irritated, and I don't blame you. I don't. Especially if you're a baby boomer, Generation X, early millennial. If you were a kid in the 1960s, 70s, 80s, 90s, even the early 2000s, this is going to piss you off. Now, when you make comments, I ask one favor. Please keep the comments within policy. I do not want to see your comment erased or deleted, because I've seen that a lot across a lot of videos. And so you got to keep the anger down to like PG-13, all right? If you get what my meaning. Now, we talk a lot about the RV industry and how it's affected by a lot of things, right? We try to take a deeper dive into how certain outside events affect the RV lifestyle as a whole. That's the goal. Now, if you haven't heard yet, and you can get more detail on the news if you want to check that out later, OpenAI had a AI agent go rogue. And what I mean by that is they put it in what they call a sandbox. I call it the mirror dimension, where it's supposed to not be able to escape, and they can run tests and basically try to advance it more. Well, it escaped in a place it's not supposed to. It's not supposed to escape, but it found a way to escape the sandbox or the mirror dimension and hack another program. And this isn't the first time we've heard of something like this. It isn't. It's just the first time it's making world news real quick. Like algorithms. Let me give you an example. So today, I go onto TikTok to load a video, and normally I see a bunch of stuff about trout fishing, or I see a bunch of comedy stuff. That's usually what my For You page is full of. Today it was AI escape, AI escape, AI escape, AI. I mean, it's just over and over and over again. The algorithm's like, we got to push this out to people. Now, I'm not anti-AI. I'm not. Okay, I'm not a fear monger that AI is going to destroy the world or anything like that. I have been taking a more middle ground approach that I think that a lot of AI should be used as a tool to improve current working conditions, not to replace human beings. And I figured, watch this, I figured that my profession and what I do for a living would be around for probably another 15 years. And then it'd probably become obsolete or change. I've got 2 years before my job is completely replaced. Now, when you look at things, okay, and this is what I want you guys to understand. When you were a kid, we imagined technology advancing so much that we could have some of the lives that we saw in Star Trek or Star Wars, or some of these unique little sci-fi things. And we've had a good run where we enjoyed technology and did things that were awesome. New cameras, new ways of video editing, things of that nature. RVs, solar, boats, cars. Everything has become more advanced, electric cars, hybrids, things of that nature. It's just become more advanced. And a lot of us have enjoyed that technology or enjoyed the rise of the technology. But now we're at a point in time where it's going to just start replacing human beings. If it can escape the sandbox now, it means Sam Altman now controls the world. It really does. That's no exaggeration, guys. Think about it. So if it can escape, one little tiny AI rogue agent can escape an enclosed area that has supposedly no escape pattern or escape route at all, and figured out how to escape, it means we are at the singularity, which means it's going to start advancing so fast that jobs that we no longer are loyal to, and I'll explain that in a minute because that's going to be confusing, are no longer needed. Within 48 months, my job will be eliminated. It is what it is. Why? Because us as human beings allowed it. Set AI aside for a second. Okay, set it aside. In the last 10 years, especially after COVID, how many times have you bought a car from the same salesperson? Let's say you found a guy that wasn't a scummy used car salesman, that was had all the transparency, everything you were looking for. You loved working with the company. It was a great experience. But because the next time you went to shop for a car, they were $500, $700 more than somebody 30 miles from you, you skipped them because of price. You didn't care about the service. You cared about the price. You didn't care about being loyal to the guy that took care of you, the sales guy that took the phone call and said, let me get you over to service. Let me get you in front of somebody. The guy who actually washed your car. I had a guy like that. Okay. So what happened? Well, when people stopped being loyal to salespeople and stopped being loyal to companies because of, oh, well, I'll save $250 and drive 20 miles. That in turn made my profession, where guys are like, your engine blew? Go screw yourself. You're never going to buy from me again, so who cares? See, when I first got in this industry, people I sold RVs to in 2009, 2010, early 2011, they were coming back to me in 14, 15, 16, and 17. And now, not all of them bought from me because maybe I didn't have the product for them, but they at least had the respect, like, this guy treated us really well. He took good care of us. Let's go talk to him first before we go anywhere else. There at least was that respect. I would say probably the folks I sold in that 3 to 4 year period, they probably bought 2 or 3 times from me, probably 65% of the time. The other folks, it was mostly about, I didn't have the product. Like, for example, there was one guy that walked in and he tried to convince his wife, and I tried to convince his wife to buy a Newmar instead of a Tiffin. And she's like, no, I love you to death. You're a good guy. If you could sell me a Tiffin, I would buy it. So that loyalty's gone. And that's just one example. That's an RV and a sales example. What about the plumber? What about the electrician? What about the guy who does your engine work? What about the guy that does your AC repair? I'm not talking about your neighbor down the street. I'm talking about companies that you pay. Individuals that are professionals, not Joe Blow that lived next door and used to be a mechanic and now changed your brakes out for $40. I'm talking about that loyalty program to a company because they took good care of you. That no longer matters to people. And because it no longer matters to people, it makes everyone's job open and accessible to being replaced by AI. Look at all the AI slop bots all over YouTube and TikTok and Instagram. Look at all of them. Now, some of it's a mix. Like, I mix and play play around with AI, okay? But AI is not the entire channel. Okay? So, but there's a ton of guys that make 5 and 10 second videos and get thousands of dollars a month working 30 minutes a day playing with an AI video generator. And yet they get thousands and thousands of views a day, while the guy who sat down and hand draw animated something gets 5 views a day. We no longer are loyal to human beings. We are loyal to ourselves, our cell phone, and what's going on in our lives and what's going on with our feelings. So I believe we have come to a point in time where it's too late to turn it around. Because now that this singularity has occurred, we are going to be replaced so fast that our entire economy, our entire world economy is going to change so rapidly. It's not even funny. I am going to tell my daughters, don't worry about college. Go learn a skill. Go learn a skill to work with your hands. Because college is now officially a waste of money and a waste of time. This event proves that college is no longer needed unless you're going to be a doctor, unless you're going to be a chemical engineer, unless you're going to do something technical with your hands. Everything else, worthless. Business degree, worthless. Accounting degree, worthless. And I'm not a doomsdayer. That's the problem. I'm not a doomsdayer. But we are at a point in time where the RV industry, as far as sales, managers, an owner of a dealership can run his entire company on AI in 2 years. Fact of life. The only thing left to do is to become a technician. So that's actually what I'm going to go back to school to do. I'm actually going to apprentice and relearn and retrain how to work on RVs, because that's really the only thing left that is going to be around in my industry. Finance managers, gone. Sales managers, gone. Everything will be computed and printed out by a robot. "48 months, guys. 48 months.